everyone, welcome back to FNAF Theory. Today it is not a theory, it is a lore video. Well, we say lore. But welcome to the downfall of Wiliam, Afton, and Henry Emily. Without wasting any time, let's get straight into it. From humble beginnings to a corporate empire haunted by darkness, Fazbear Entertainment is a story steeped in mystery, tragedy, and horror. But how did this company come to be? And why, after decades of terrifying animatronics and sinister secrets, did it crumble? To understand its rise and fall, we must look at its origins, and one name that echoes through it all. We are talking about Wiliam Afton. In roughly around the 1970s, it started with a simple family-owned business, Fredbear's Family Diner. Founded by two men, Wiliam Afton and Henry Emily. This modest establishment laid the groundwork for what would become Fazbear Entertainment. The animatronic technology that entertained children was revolutionary for its time, with Afton's genius in robotics and Emily's vision for family fun merging to create something new and exciting. But beneath the cheerful exterior, darkness began to take root. The first incident, what we know as the Bite of 83, was the catalyst that changed everything. Afton's obsession with pushing the limits of his creations, and Emily's struggle to keep the family-friendly image intact, led to an inevitable tragedy. An innocent birthday party turned into a nightmare, and the death of a child left the diner forever stained with blood. Now, I don't think that Wiliam intended for his son to be killed by the robot. In fact, I don't think that he intended for anyone to be killed by Fredbear. Or I think both Wiliam and Emily, Afton and Emily, both originally thought that this could be the next big thing. A groundbreaking franchise that could revolutionize entertainment for children all over the world, all over the US. But sadly, with the loss of William's child that one night, I don't think that what they originally planned would keep its mark. Following the closure of Fredbear's Family Diner, Afton refused to let it go. Rather than abandon the animatronics, he saw opportunity. The formation of Fazbear Entertainment this was his attempt not to only revive the concept, but to expand on it. This time under a brand new name, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. But Afton's motives weren't just about entertainment anymore. Something darker was brewing inside of him. Wiliam Afton wasn't just a brilliant inventor. He was a man consumed by a twisted desire for control and immortality. He created new animatronics, deadlier, more complex, and soon disappearances began. Children went missing, and rumours spread of hauntings and cursed robots. But Fazbear Entertainment pressed forward, and their growing empire overshadowing the horrific events tied to their name. Now, obviously, they did close, often with the disappearances and missing the events by A7, yada yada yada. But to me, it seems like a lot of it further on was planned. That Fazbear Entertainment was just a false narrative for Wiliam to carry on his sick desires to finally fill that hole and try to bring back his son. Also, the loss of Elizabeth. I don't think that Wiliam took that very well. As far as we know, Wiliam and Elizabeth had a great bond. He made an animatronic for her, specifically for her. So, why didn't she take his warnings of not being allowed to go near him, near Circus Baby? That we'll never find out. Until Scott brings up in like some future lore, book-wise or anything. Despite the tragedies, Fazbear Entertainment thrived for decades. Locations opened and closed. Lawsuits piled up and animatronics were repetitively decommissioned, only to reappear in new forms. The company seemed invincible. There was one constant, a phantom that haunted the business. Afton himself. With the Springlock failure, Afton, now trapped inside of his own creation, became the monster lurking in the shadows of the corporate structure of Fazbear Entertainment. Attempted to distance themselves from the deaths and danger, but Afton's presence was like a curse that couldn't be shaken. As the years passed, Afton's influence only grew after his supposed death. In the 21st century, Fazbear Entertainment took a new direction, rebranding itself as a company focusing on new technology. They developed a virtual reality game to clean up their tainted reputation, but as we know, it was no ordinary game. It was a tool for something far more sinister. A way for Afton, now known as Glitchtrap, to return once again. Afton's consciousness trapped in the digital world began infecting the very technology Fazbear Entertainment relied on. His goal was simple, it was survival, and the company, whether knowingly or unknowingly, became complicit in his resurrection. By the time the Mega Pizzaplex opened its doors, Fazbear Entertainment was no longer just a pizza chain. It had become a corporate monolith, a multimedia empire with attractions, merchandise, and games. But with every new venture, Afton's corruption spread further. The company was a hollow shell, driven by greed and haunted by its past. Underground, hidden from the public, the truth remained buried. Fazbear's Entertainment's failure to contain Afton's legacy led to their ultimate downfall. The Pizzaplex became the final battleground with Afton, attempting one last return as Burnt Trap, a decayed version of his former self, but in the end it was just a corporation destroyed from within, by its own history, by its founder, by the darkness that never truly left. Before the empire of Fazbear Entertainment there was a dream created by not just one man though, but by two. Wiliam Afton, as we know, was the technological mastermind, and Henry Emily was the light heart and soul behind it all. But while Afton's legacy is infamous as we just found out, Henry's story is one of tragedy and resilience, and redemption. It is a tale of a man whose greatest achievement became his worst nightmare. The early days of Fredbear's Family Diner were filled with success and hope. The animatronics were groundbreaking, and children flocked to see them. But Henry had no idea that the seeds of destruction were already being planted. Afton, his closest partner and his best friend, was hiding something much dark and sinister. While Henry believed that they were building a future for families, Afton was building something else entirely. Then came the incident that would change everything, the bite of 83, the malfunction of Fredbear, where he bit down on the head of William's son, Evan. But perhaps something worse led to the tragic death. But perhaps something worse happened. After the bite of 83, it led to the tragic death of Henry's own child, Charlotte, or Charlie, as we all know and love her from the books. Fredbear's family diner was immediately shut down, and Henry's world was absolutely shattered. But this was only the beginning of his nightmare. He was a man of morals, a father, and a creator. He sought to rebuild, but how could anyone rebuild after such a devastating loss? Unknown to him at the time, William already had begun his twisted experiments, with the animatronics not just using them as entertainment, but as vessels for something far darker. And soon the consequences of Afton's actions would come to light in the most horrifying way. Fazbear Entertainment rose from the ashes of Fredbear's, but this time Henry wasn't at the center. Afton took control, expanding on the brand and bringing in new animatronics and new locations, and especially new horrors. Children began disappearing, and the connection to the animatronics became undeniable. Henry, consumed by grief over his daughter and guilt for trusting Afton, tried to distance himself, but it wasn't enough. Afton's crimes would eventually find their way into Henry's doorstep. Then Henry discovered the terrible truth. His daughter Charlotte was one of the victims of William Afton, her spirit forever trapped in the body of the marionette. This is a reminder of Afton's cruelty. Henry's creation had become a prison not just for his daughter, but for the other children who had fallen victim to William. This realization drove Henry into isolation, haunted by the guilt of his part in creating the very machines that held the souls of the innocent. For years, Henry lived in torment, but he wasn't idle. He knew that if anyone could stop Afton, it was him. Henry began devising a plan to end everything, a plan to stop the animatronics, to free the trapped souls, and destroy Afton once and for all. It would take years of careful planning and sacrifice, but he was willing to do whatever it took to redeem himself and save those who have been lost. Henry's plan was the creation of a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, one that was designed not to entertain, but to entrap. Henry knew William would come back, drawn to the remnants of his work. He knew the spirits of the children, including his daughter, were still out there, and so he set the stage for one final act, a fire that would end all of it once and for all.
And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us.
In one final selfless act, Henry brought everything to an end. The animatronics, Afton, and the spirits of the children were all consumed in the blaze. It was Henry's redemption, his way of freeing his daughter, and the others from the cycle of suffering. Fazbear Entertainment and the legacy he had helped to build was no more. Henry Emily's story is a tragedy, one of a man who only wanted to create joy, but who was pulled into a nightmare beyond his control. He lost everything: his daughter, his creations, his best friend, and his company. But in the end, Henry did what few could. He faced the monster he helped create, and he made the ultimate sacrifice to stop it. Fazbear Entertainment began with two men and one dream. One became a monster, the other became a hero. But both met the same end, engulfed by the flames of their own creation. For Henry, it was the final act of redemption, but for Afton, it was the end of a reign of terror. Or was it? I know that this is different to what the channel is called. It is called FNAFery. This was a lore drop. This was a lore video. And that's why I might change the name in the close future, probably to, it's probably gonna still be integrated with Five Nights at Freddy's, but it will have a different name, more than likely. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I worked hard on it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, as I worked really hard on it. And I hope I helped you all begin to learn and understand what the effects of Afton had, what they caused. Thank you for watching. And remember, it's not just a theory, it's a FNAF theory. Thanks for watching.